You don't need someone's permission to build a successful multi-million-dollar business solo.
When founders needed capital and a team to build, she proved they needed none of it. Sabrina left Silicon Valley and built a $3 million business, solo and bootstrapped.
I was watching some of your other podcasts where you explain how easy things are today with ChatGPT.
I grew basically from 0 to 2 million. From October 20th, it was probably like 10 days to my first 10K in monthly recurring revenue. Like these are all things people take for granted now that were like insanely hard problems just 10 years ago.
And how long is your one day? Are you recording for like an hour?
Probably about 20 minutes per TikTok video. It's like, I don't do any retakes. I don't heavily script my videos. I'm just like the laziest content creator you'll ever meet. Coming from Silicon Valley, the word influencer is so weird to me. I don't want people to think, oh yeah, like AI can just do everything and you don't have to know what's going on. I know what's going on at every single step. I have to be the architect driving it. I look for spaghetti code or random things that AI has inserted. I talked about like 4 really horrible things that went wrong.
Now getting into the part where I personally know so many people that want to start their own thing. You actually did this step by step and you did it in public. And this is the part that I think our audience is so wanting to learn about. So would love to know a little bit about Blotato, the early days. How did you come up with the idea? What were the signals? And, as much as you can share about the early days would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't ever want to start another company. I think people have to understand from my first company, I did the venture path, sold the company, happy with the outcome. And I was like burnt out, guys. Like I did not want to start another company. I just wanted to like chill, teach people AI. But what ended up happening is I was growing so fast as an influencer, which was beyond my wildest expectation. I mean, coming from Silicon Valley, the word influencer is so weird to me. It still kind of gives me the ick. Like I don't view it as a complimentary thing. But there were so many people out there who wanted high quality free AI education. I was so passionate about that. And so what happened is I just ran into normal growing pains. It was like, well, how do I take one video and like post it on other platforms? How do I repurpose the same content so I don't have to create like fresh content every single time I sit down? It was all about like, how do I work smarter and lazier? Because I don't actually like the process of content creation. I like building stuff. So I was like, how do I kind of build a system to scale myself without having to pour like that much more time into content creation or hiring a big team? That was really the heart of it. So it really came from solving my own problem. And so what I did, which is what I naturally do, is I started making YouTube videos. Like, here's my make.com automation to repurpose content into different formats. And then I would get comments on those videos like, setting up this automation is way too hard. Can you just like, is there an app that can just do this for me? So that was like the light bulb moment. I was like, oh, wait, like, why don't I just build an app for people out there who don't want to duct tape these workflow automations together? Because like, as you guys know, like that's a whole other thing you have to maintain. It's never as easy as it sounds. Things break all the time. There's edge cases. Workflow automations can be really fragile. And so that was like the very first kind of like light bulb moment. Like, oh, maybe I should actually build this. And for me, it was not risky at all. Like if it completely failed, I could just say, oh, I'm going to give this open source to everybody in my audience for free. Like run with it, take the code, do whatever you want with it. So from my perspective, it was just like a fun experiment to see, okay, maybe I could use AI to vibe code this. I'll film it. I'll make content out of it. And even if it generates no money, I'll just give it to my audience for free. They'll love that. So that was the origin story. Okay.
That's the part I'd love to get into. Yeah.
Okay,
what would the initial emails look like? What was the launch process like? I know we're discussing there was some fun stuff.
Yeah. All that fun stuff. Okay, so let me share. So as soon as I had this idea, like I'm not the kind of person who waits around a long time. So all I did was, you can see the timestamp here. It's August 1st, 2024. This was around the time I first had the idea. Okay, I have this idea. I wonder if other people resonate with this problem too. So what I did, since I had a growing audience at the time, I just made a TikTok video and asked people, hey, do you guys resonate with these pain points? If so, like drop a comment below. So I'll play a little bit of the video for you. Of your feedback. Basically, a lot of people ask me for AI automations for repurposing content. I'm thinking of building a SaaS app where you put like YouTube videos, blog posts, things you want to repurpose and add your unique point of view on, and you just plug those in, and then it creates social media posts for multiple platforms that you can then publish in one click. And it could have like a set it and forget it mode. So you describe your business, like what you're trying to accomplish, and then it automatically just like finds relevant news, interesting stories related to your business, adds your unique point of view. It can even send it to you so you can, just manually edit, review. So it could potentially be a mostly automated social media system for small businesses. At this stage, I'm just looking for feedback. I just had this idea because it kept coming up, like the idea of using AI and automations for repurposing content. So yeah, that was it. Like literally 30 seconds, if that, to film it. No retakes, right? Like super easy. And then the next step was just like going through all these comments, like all these people who said, yes, I'm in, great idea. What I did next is I just DM'd about like 10, 20 of them and set up one-to-one phone calls just to better understand like what tools they're using today and where this solution would fit in, or would it replace completely what they're using today. So like just from a speed perspective, like it's like I had the idea, posted the TikTok video. Okay, we have a lot of people saying, yes, I love it. But as we know in the product world, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So then I chose a bunch of people from the comments, hopped on phone calls with them to like really understand what tools are they using, what are they currently paying for, what are their pain points, how are they duct taping these different tools together, and where would my solution fit into their everyday world.
That's awesome. And so from here, what happened next? What was the...
Yeah, so from here, so let me share this. So from here, I had the brilliant idea of like, why don't I just film myself building the MVP? Like, that would be cool. This was like 2024, around August or September, guys. Like there wasn't that much content around how to actually like vibe code something from idea to launched. And so I made a playlist that consists of 7 parts. Okay, the part 1 was just like planning and writing your MVP. A lot of people are non-technical, right? They have no idea what a PRD is. I meet many people who are vibe coding, they don't know what an MVP is. Like they don't even know kind of like that terminology we take for granted. And so in this 7-part series, I literally walk through it step by step. Here's my MVP, here's the tech stack, here's the UI I created, here's some additional features I added, here's user authentication, here I plugged in an API for AI-powered image generation, here I in my first version, I couldn't even publish to social media, so I hooked it up to Zapier to publish to social media for me. Like that's how MVP-ish this was. It didn't even like let you publish to social media, guys. But yeah, so here's like part 1 where I'm just talking about planning and writing my MVP specs. So I'm really talking through, before writing a line of code, let's figure out like who's your audience, narrow down the scope as much as possible, etc. Here's the tech stack that I plan to use. This was my like longer term vision, okay? Here's my spec in August 2nd, 2020. So what was interesting in this video is I started with this screen. I was like, okay, I wanted to do all of these things, but then I walked through the exercise of removing features. So I like in this video, I was like, okay, but we probably don't need this. We probably don't need that.
That's so important to prune. Yeah, a lot of people don't do that. Like it's so many benefits to this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of non-technical people who are trying to vibe code for the first time. Like this audience is obviously way more product oriented, but there's so many things we take for granted from the product side. Like obviously simplicity, clarifying things down to who is our ideal target user, what is the job to be done, and just trimming as much as possible. A lot of people struggle with that because like AI can kind of build anything. They think that they should try to build everything in the first MVP. So in this video, I was just really walking through the exercise of, okay, let's just remove all this stuff I don't need. Like here, for example, here, instead of creating posts for LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, in the V1, we're just going to create a Facebook post, right? Like that's it. And so once we removed everything, I mean, it looks crazy basic, but it was. But it was enough to generate like my first 10K in monthly recurring revenue. So yeah, I just walked people through all this, like, and then I actually coded it in Cursor AI.
How do you get it out? How do you said you got your first 10K with a simple, with quite a simple feature set. What did that look like? What was your launch email like? How did you reach out to your customers? And what was the launch process like?
So yeah, I mean, this was like the V1, guys, like really disgusting, but it worked. So here you kind of paste in your original content. So let's just say you normally write blogs or newsletters, and you don't normally post to short form social media platforms. So here you could paste your blog or newsletter, choose the platforms you want, and then it would generate like a Facebook post tailored to that platform. Okay. So that was it. That was like literally the MVP, nothing that complicated, but it was enough. And so, yeah, a lot of people ask me next, like, how did I get my first, let's say, 10K in MRR? So let me talk through that. So I think this was October 1st. I launched my waitlist program to my newsletter and to folks on my TikTok audience. And it was really simple. I mean, this was the email. I just talked about like a big part of my own success is repurposing my own content. So I'm building Blotato to scale content creation for these people. If you're interested, fill out this form. So this was my waitlist form. Okay. I was really optimistic about this waitlist program. But honestly, it ended up being way more confusing because I only selected maybe like 50 people with consistent responses. But what I found was what people say is very different from what they actually do. Like I should have known this, but people would fill this out and I'd be like, oh, this is the perfect person for my early adopter program. And then when I check their post hog session of like what platforms they're actually posting to, what type of content they make, it does not match at all, like anything that they said. So I actually regret spending a couple of weeks on this early adopter program. I actually wish I just went straight to launch sooner because this ended up confusing me. Like 50 people with 50 different use cases, 50 different ways that they're posting to social media and types of content that they're creating. So this was one mistake I look back on where I honestly could have just saved a month by skipping this early adopter program altogether.
Wow, that's quite big. Yeah, we call this a say-do ratio. What customers say and they actually do can be quite different.
So on October 20th was my official launch day. So all I did to launch was release this newsletter to my audience and then also post the TikTok video. And here I wanted to point out like all the things that went wrong. So this was the newsletter. And you can see here, there's like a big gray box. So this was supposed to be my 5-minute launch video on YouTube. But what happened was I was like so nervous before the launch. I kept making last minute changes to the YouTube video. And like I uploaded a new version, but grabbed the old link and the old link I deleted. So like this video doesn't exist here. So I don't know how many people were on my newsletter at the time, maybe like 50, 70,000 people, but they all got this newsletter with the old demo link that didn't work. So they would click this and it would say video not found. So that was pretty embarrassing. And then a lot of people like emailed me about it. Video is private, your newsletter doesn't launch. So yeah, from October 20th, it was probably like 10 days to my first 10K in monthly recurring revenue, which is crazy, right? Like we talk about ramen profitable 10K MRR in the tech world, but it's crazy what can happen if you already have an audience that kind of trusts you and you already have like people lined up. Like I had probably hundreds of people that filled out this wait list, right? I only selected the top 50 that I felt were the best fit, but there were like hundreds of people who had filled out this wait list alone.
Right. Awesome. So the previous audience that you built up was one of the biggest successes, I think, for you in terms of getting the initial launch done successfully. Did you end up sending the video again? Like, did you send up this link with a proper video, or did you not collect that?
Yeah, no, it was the following week. It was not immediately after this email. The reality is like a lot of people signed up anyway. So, because like if you click the link here, it just goes to the website. So then they could at least click there to learn more. And even though they didn't see the video.
What did you do next? Were you looking at the data, seeing what they're up to, where are they failing? Thinking about your next feature set. What happened after the initial excitement when you had these users? How did you keep them retained and grow?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty crazy just keeping up with everything. The first thing I wanted to do was just recap my launch. Like as a creator, my mindset is always like, well, how do I make content out of this, even if things went wrong? And I use this as a way to like continue promoting Blotato as well. So like here, for example, I talked about like 4 really horrible things that went wrong. This video summarizes it a bit more and has a bit more engagement. So like 10 things I learned launching my app. So this served as like not only a recap for me, but also additional marketing. Okay, here, here, and here. But from
Yeah.
a product perspective, though, it was just watching a lot of post hog sessions, like literally just sitting there for 2 hours watching where people got stuck. And some of it is like in the payment. Like some people were like, "Oh, my Amazon Pay didn't work," so like just increasing the number of options that like somebody could sign up. Trying to improve the onboarding, just watching those user sessions obsessively because like I mean it's pretty amazing because like you can see exactly what people are doing and what they're trying to do, and so there was so much information just from watching those sessions, not even setting up like
Interesting.
fancy funnels or metrics or dashboards yet, but just sitting there watching the recordings and seeing like where people are rage clicking, where they're getting stuck, like where they're trying to click, things that they'd be trying to do. Like that was the number one most helpful thing in the beginning. Yeah, sign up was a big one. Onboarding, like how quickly could we get them to a draft post at all? Because like in my initial version, you would kind of just be dropped into the interface, and then after seeing people like struggle with where to click, I decided to make the onboarding a step by step. Like literally, step one, post a YouTube link or TikTok link that we're going to repurpose. Step two, choose up to 5 platforms that you want to post on. And then step 3, they would get the draft posts for those platforms. So going from like just dropping a person in to step by step hold their hand type of onboarding was a big takeaway from this.
Yeah. How did you think about churn? I'm sure these users have signed up. It's a brand new product. Probably it might be a bit on the higher end. And how did you reduce that?
Churn was insanely high initially, especially before putting that kind of onboarding in place that walk them through it step by step. Like churn was like I was lucky to have an audience. So like one of the reasons I'm so bullish on either building a personal brand or partnering with someone who understands distribution is like it's kind of a cheat code to improving your product because you get a constant stream of people in.
Yeah.
So like every single day, you know, whatever number of people would sign up and I'd have new information. Okay, like here's how to improve onboarding, here's how to improve my activation rates, and just stay super focused on that in order to reduce churn. But yeah, for sure, like my initial churn probably in my first month or two is crazy high, like probably over 30% churn. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah. It was like alarming, but I was like, well, you know, I just started, so let's keep
And you're
improving the
getting new
product.
users.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
so, a helpful contrast here is like my first startup, Qurious. Like it was so hard for me to get customers. We were doing outbound enterprise sales, and I
Yeah.
had just graduated college. Like I knew nothing about sales, nothing about enterprise, like nothing about the call center or BPO space, and so my experience there getting customers was like high pain, super slow, super painful. In this case, because I had a brand and this is a low ticket PLG type of product, like there was just a constant flow of people signing up. So there was never a day I was concerned like, oh my God, it's just going to stop and fail. Because I had that like constant flow of people coming in, I just thought to myself like, well, if I just keep improving the product, improving the targeting of my marketing so that activation rates are better, then
Yeah.
eventually, you know, I'll fix these numbers like churn and activation rates, and it'll be good from there. And that's exactly what happened. Like I just kept going, focused on those things. It was very different from my first startup, where like every sale just felt so painful and such a long process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I now want to get into the kind of you're more developed now, and I would love to get into a
Mhm.
bit more about the process of how you do rapid development. I know that you talked about in our prep session of having to rewrite all the code.
Mhm.
What was that process like? Okay, once you're like, this is something interesting, how do you take it from an interesting idea to a more robust build?
Yeah, I think this is where like a lot of people get confused by content that says like AI kills all software developers, right? Like I really don't resonate with any of that. I try to teach people like the point of vibe coding is to validate your idea quickly, get your paying customers, and then hire a developer with high conviction. Because if you look at the old way of doing things, like even 5 years ago, building out an MVP would cost like $5,000 to $15,000, like easily. It would take 3 to 6 months easily for your first version, so that by the time you launch your MVP, you're like tired and you want to do something else. Like it's kind of drained all of your energy already, and that was normal. Like that was the normal process people went through. With vibe
Yeah.
coding, all of that compresses. Like now you can truly build an MVP in a matter of days. Like literally that YouTube series you guys saw, it took me more time to edit the YouTube videos than to actually build the MVP. Like like it was crazy. But yeah, time is compressed, cost is compressed so that you can get your first 10 to 100 paying customers on your vibe coded product and then hire a real developer to take it over. In my case, I did not hire a real developer until millions in annual recurring revenue, but that was
Cool.
because like I felt like after my first startup, like this type of product seems a lot easier. Like after trying to build, our own speech recognition models in real time, super low latency and natural language processing, this to me, this was like, well, this is just an API wrapper, isn't it? Like, so I felt like confidence, like, I could probably code this though. But it was harder than you think. Like I don't want people to think, oh yeah, like AI can just do everything and you don't have to know what's going on. I know what's going on at every single step. I have to be the architect driving it. I look for spaghetti code or random things that AI has inserted. There are many times when I get relaxed and I just let Claude do its thing, and I regret it because it changed something else and exploded all the queues, and like it just destroyed everything in production. So like, I call it like shifting from vibe coding 100% AI coding to now AI assisted coding. So AI may be taking 50 to 60% of the load. And it's definitely developed like since I started using Claude Code. In the beginning, it was like not that great. So I used it for scaffolding, obviously brainstorming the architecture plan, revising it, helping come up with tests, variable naming, like all of these things around planning and QA testing and scaffolding. It was really helpful with. Now,
Yeah.
today, it can definitely implement features, right? But I'm still providing the spec for it to do so. Like, okay, let's think through all the things that this is going to impact. Let's think through 3 different approaches, figure out the pros and cons of each one. Okay, which trade-offs are acceptable to me? Like, I'm heavily involved in driving that entire process before I let it run at all.
Got it. And this next part, I want to get into operating as a one person AI native business. What has that been like? So you have the experience of starting your own company in the past,
Yeah.
getting it to 10 million above and exit to versus now. For folks, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And if you can get into some tips and tricks around that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I only hired my first full-time person a couple months ago. So I grew Blotato. So it's been less than 2 years since the launch. I've grown it from zero to millions in annual recurring revenue solo, and then hired my first person a few months ago. It's been crazy. Like my number one takeaway is that you don't need someone's permission to build a successful multi-million dollar business solo. Before, in the old way of doing things, you would literally need capital. Like this is
Mm.
not possible before without a bunch of capital. Like I raised a little bit of money, I hired a team, and then we
Yeah.
built out the rest of the technology and sold it. Today
Yeah.
with AI, like especially if you have a product or technical background, guys, you can absolutely do a lot of this solo. Maybe partner with someone who already has a brand or understands distribution really well. And like
Yeah.
it's just such a cheat code to success. Like you do not need someone's permission to do this. You don't need someone's capital to do this. This opportunity is accessible, especially if you have product or technical background.
Got it. So yeah, so you've talked about it's ever more possible now as it's ever been, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody should do it. I think you're finding the wedge or the pain came from your own experience. Is that something
Mm-hmm.
that you universally recommend, or is there any other ways that you say, "Hey, this is how you should choose your pain point and validate it"?
Yeah, I think it depends also on the price point for like this kind of self-service PLG. Definitely your own pain point is number one, but generally number two, any space where people are already paying for a solution is going to be ripe for disruption, especially now with AI agents and like even businesses are rethinking like SaaS pricing versus like outcome-based pricing, for example, with agents. I think there's a lot of opportunity to disrupt many types of businesses. It's a, like as long as someone's already paying money for other tools, like the market is there, you know. That's like the biggest thing I look for. Even in my own market, I was like, well, people are paying for Buffer, Hootsuite, Metricool, Later, like a whole suite of these other alternatives. I just need to make my product better in one dimension. And because I'm my own user, I can like be honest about it. Like I can list all the ways Blotato sucks, and like you should probably go use this competitor for that. But I can also list like the couple ways that Blotato is just really really good because that's what I optimized it for.
That's awesome. That's great. The next part is probably the one that people are another area they're really interested in learning is our building distribution. You know, you've obviously done really, really well, but if someone is starting out now, what tips and tricks would you have for them to build a distribution? And is it too crowded? Can they still do it? And how do they go around doing that? Go about doing that?
Yeah, in terms of building distribution, I don't think it's too crowded at all. Like there's not that many credible people building personal brands. There's a lot of people who have no background in the thing and then build a personal brand and kind of like gain experience in the process. I see that very often. But if you have like experience in the domain, you have a history of like helping customers already, or you even just have like credible product or tech background, you will rise above the noise. There just aren't that many people. When I started on TikTok 2 years ago, there was literally nobody from Silicon Valley posting on TikTok. Like there weren't found, like I was looking for it. Like I would have loved to follow people like that. Now there are a lot more, you know, hopefully, I hope thanks to like my example and some others, but like it's really not crowded at all. So like don't be afraid to build a personal brand based on what you have right now. In terms of which platforms to start with, I always recommend TikTok because it's the most generous to new creators. Like I have seen TikTok accounts, their very first video blows up. Even in my case, it took about 6 weeks for my first TikTok video to start going viral. So it hit probably 100,000 views 6 weeks into my TikTok journey. Other platforms like
And were you
LinkedIn,
posting daily? Like
I was
on TikTok?
posting daily. Yeah,
Yeah.
so for the first, let's say 3 to 4 weeks on TikTok, I was posting once per day. And then I ramped it up to 3 times per day. And that's when things really started taking off. It sounds like a lot, but like if you watch my TikTok videos, like they're not scripted, barely edited. Like I never do retakes. Like it's very raw. Again, like I don't view myself as a content creator influencer primarily. Like it's to me,
Yeah.
it's just like a hobby I do on the side to teach people how to use
Wow.
AI.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
mostly just enjoy building, learning, and teaching. So I use tools to compress the time it takes to create content. Like I always want to maximize building, learning, and teaching and minimize content creation with systems. So,
Yeah, and that's where Blotato is all about, right? So using it to
yeah.
get it out in many different places. So you started posting multiple times on
Mhm.
TikTok, and that helped you grow. And in terms of what topics did you cover? I'm asking because people were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what do I talk about? What do I cover in those
Yeah.
YouTube videos or
So just
TikTok
as a,
videos?"
So for me, the things that took off were around like learning and simple chat GPT prompts. I think a lot of
Wow,
people in the tech bubble, like I know we're talking about agents and loops and like all of these fancy things. Like
graphs.
literally outside of the tech bubble, like people are still trying to install chat GPT. Like I'm really not kidding. Like I went to Barnes and Noble the other day and like literally on their checkout shelf was like this magazine, and it's like a top seller, guys. Like it's like the most the stuff you would find basic because we're coming from a product tech background. But I swear to you, most people out there are just like, how do I write a chat GPT prompt? How do I make it like sound a little bit like me? How do I use it to like, I don't know, just like figure out this homework problem or help me study for this or help me prepare for an interview? And so TikTok taught me really quickly, like, whoa, because I started on YouTube making AI agent videos and like all these fancy things 2 years ago. Like my banner on YouTube is AI agents and automations from 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, no
Okay.
one cared about any of that. So I learned that real quickly from TikTok. But just as a general playbook, whatever platform you're starting on, whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever, just look at the top performing content already in your niche and literally copy the hooks. I know it sounds bad, but like I encourage people to copy my content all the time, like because it's going to teach you really quickly how to make content that people actually stop scrolling for. The hook, the opener, is the most important thing. So once you get really good at that, then you can focus on like making a lot of your own original content. But until you're good at that, like nobody's going to watch your content if you can't get them to stop scrolling.
Got it. So did you start all platforms at the same time? Did you start on TikTok, then you went to YouTube and Instagram?
So I started actually on LinkedIn, which a lot of people don't know. So I started doing one LinkedIn post a day. My very first like viral LinkedIn post, looking back, I took a template from Justin Welsh. It was like old way of building AI startups, 3 bullet points, new way to build AI startups. And that was my first post that did really well because I copied an existing viral template. And by the way, Justin Welsh copied that template from someone on Twitter. Okay, so copying, yeah, like I know a lot of people like who are brand new, like are averse to the word copying, but the biggest creators in the world all copy each other. It's just we all know that. And so like whatever platform you're on, just like look at the top performing content and copy their hooks and copy their template, like structurally, how is the post constructed, and then fill it in with your own information, but always copy the hook. Like don't try to be creative around that. In terms
So
of
just copy it right, like just exactly as is.
yeah,
Do you
exactly.
credit them too, or do you credit them at the bottom, or no?
Yeah, I mean, you should, but like most people don't. Like literally, my Instagram feed is full of people copying my own content, and like very rarely do people credit me. But like that's okay to me because my goal is just to teach as many people as possible AI. So if they're copying
Yeah,
my content and teaching the same thing to other people, like that's fine. But you have to copy the hook because it's like the most important thing in like all of your content. So
interesting.
here I would say copy 3 simple tips to unlock ChatGPT genius mode, dot, 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 brain emoji. You can say whatever you want after the first 5 to 10 seconds. Like that doesn't matter, but just copy the hook because millions of people have already voted that this hook works, that this
That's
engaged them,
awesome.
that this made them stop scrolling.
That's awesome. Is there a hooks library anywhere, or is that so just
Oh,
you
yeah.
just kind of look at it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So if you go here, we can share this link after. But so I have a bunch of free Claude skills, and one of them is already encoded with like 100 viral hooks. So
No way.
yeah.
So Blotato would do this. Blotato would do all this for you. Like it would give you the hooks.
Yeah. Well, so you can actually just grab this even without Blotato. So it's just like a plugin you can install. So here, basically a plugin that you can install into Claude or Codex. And like everything here is free. You don't need Blotato unless you actually want to schedule it to social media. That'll use Blotato here. But all these other ones, like your brand brief, your content coach, the post grader, repurposing, and viral hooks, these are all free to use. So we can share
Wow.
the link to this as well if your audience is interested. Yeah, sure. So yeah, you would just install this as a plugin. I think there's instructions here. You can even just tell Claude. You can literally drop the link to this in Claude Code and be like, import these skills, and it'll figure it out. But basically, it comes with 7 skills. The content coach walks you through everything step by step. So after you install this plugin, if you say, I don't know what to post, the content coach will ask you like, hey, what are you building? What are you trying to sell? What kind of content do you like to post? Like just text? Are you okay filming videos? If you film videos, we're going to write some scripts. Everything you say is going to be recorded into your brand brief. So other people call this brand voice. It's basically like a memory of everything about you and your business, your offer, and your ideal target customer so that you don't have to repeat yourself every time. It's just automatically going to update it. Okay. Post writer
Awesome.
is actually what's going to write the post. And then post grader, this is like people's favorite. This will actually grade the post according to a viral rubric. And you can see the rubric here. So like hook strength accounts for this much. Does it trigger curiosity? Is it specific? Is it share worthy? Is it a fit to the platform, etc.? So a lot of people love this because you
This
can
is
set,
wild.
yeah, you can set loops like, okay, write me a full week of content. Don't stop until every single post scores 9 out of 10 from the post grader. So typically it's going to go through 3 to 5 revisions for each post. And like, it's especially going to swap out different hooks until it gets to a hook that it believes will work
Wow.
really well.
And this is platform agnostic. Like you can
Oh
this is
yeah.
for LinkedIn, X, Twitter.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. So the post writer already has like different examples for that platform, and the post grader does as well. I will say though, like LinkedIn and X tend to share the same like viral patterns. Same with TikTok and Reels and Facebook. Like those tend to same share the same viral patterns. And so you don't necessarily have to rewrite everything every single time. So if you wrote something natively for LinkedIn, that will often transfer well to Substack as well as Twitter. So the other way of saying that is like when I have a post do really well on LinkedIn, it also tends
yeah.
to do really well on Substack.
Do you have agents doing this somewhat semi-automatically for you, or
Mhm.
I guess I mean, Blotato is obviously doing that, but yeah, I would love to know about
Yeah.
that part.
Oh yeah. So this is an example. So I'm sharing a different screen here now, but here I
Yeah.
share my actual cross post skill. So for example, let's say I finish filming a TikTok video. This skill will rewrite the caption slightly, so it's optimized for each platform, and then it will convert it into text posts for Twitter, Threads, and LinkedIn. So how the skill works, it'll like understand the video by transcribing it. It just uses Whisper locally on your computer, so it doesn't cost anything. Rewrites it, the caption a little bit for each platform, waits for my approval, and then publishes to all of these places. In my case, I batch content 1 day a week, so it will like schedule everything throughout the entire week. And you can see the
So
cross post skill
yeah,
here. So you can
so
actually just copy this. Yeah.
perfect. So you just record once a week, and that does you
Yeah.
for the entire week.
Yeah, for the longest time, like up until I think February this year, I only made content 1 day a week. So like no joke, I don't consider myself like a full-time content creator influencer. I know like everybody prescribes that title to me, but like I like building, learning, and teaching, and I don't like content creation. I find it like tedious in many ways. And so my whole goal has to been to like build systems so I can like do all the fun stuff, make content out of it, but like minimize the actual time I spend making content, and distributing it everywhere.
Wow. And
Yeah, it's
how
only
long is
this
your one
year.
day? Like,
What's
is
that?
that like, are you recording for like an hour? How long are you taking to do the actual recording of content?
So let's say if we go by like let's say a TikTok video, it's probably like 20 minutes. 20, yeah, it's probably about 20 minutes per TikTok video. Because like I don't do any retakes. I don't heavily script my videos. I don't have a ton of B-roll. Like lately I've been having more B-roll, but that's because I'm using like remotion or hyperframes to go get the B-roll. I'm not the one doing it, you know. So but yeah, I'm constantly experimenting with different ways to like make my content more engaging without having to do extra work. Like that's I'm just like the
That's awesome.
laziest content creator you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
So
Or I guess what I was trying to think about was for people that are finding it hard to get started, I would use your example like, hey, spend 2 hours a week and that's it. I mean, obviously there's
mhm,
automations built in, but it's not every single day, it's not all the time.
mhm. Yeah, it's not every single day. Like it's just 1 day a week. Like I grew basically from 0 to 2 million 1 day a week, and then from 2 million to 3 million. I only added one more day for my long form YouTube because now I'm filming multiple YouTubes a week. But like, yeah, that's only 2 days a week. So like, I still have the rest of my week to actually like build stuff, make sure potatoes growing and things like that. I can show you guys an example of like an AI edited video if that would be interesting.
Oh, that would be very interested. Yeah.
Okay.
Would love to.
So this was posted um 22 hours ago. Okay, so 22 hours ago, 2000 comments. Okay. So the beginning is just my usual talking and that's I'll pause it throughout. Okay. This is a B-roll clip. So I have like a whole folder of B-roll clips that hyperframes and remotion can use. So it's just like tagged with calendar underscore interview slots or something. Okay, so it remotion hyperframes automatically inserts it. This is
And how
also a
did you,
B-roll clip. Yeah.
how did you get this B-roll folder? Like, how did you think about
Oh,
what to put in there?
I literally just like open my laptop and film my phone like this. Or like sometimes I'll use QuickTime if I'm just like grabbing a clean thing. But like these
Yeah.
where it looks like I'm pointing, I'm literally just like pointing with my finger. It's like a 4 second clip. And then I just have
Wow.
remotion or hype or I have Claude analyze what's in the footage, name the footage, and put it in my B-roll folder. So it
That's
can
cool.
reuse it in multiple videos. This was just a screenshot of the prompt itself. Okay. So that's it. And
Yeah.
then it inserted it. And that's it. Yeah. So this was just 22 hours ago. Um,
And Claude edited this for you? Is that
Yeah, so using Remotion, this is actually a
remotion?
better
Yeah.
one. Yeah, so this one, like, there's no way I would do this, guys. Like, I am way too lazy to do animations like this. So let me just play it and you'll see what I mean. It's basically like a tier list. So it pops open the logo and then it shows, like, okay, I rate it C tier, B tier, A tier, S tier. Like, I just talked. So the only thing I did was capture my face here. And then I believe it was Remotion here, did everything else. It grabbed the logos for each company. It created this tier list. It created this animation like this. Because like there's just no way I would make this video by myself. Like I'm just not into video editing like this. So this was 100% edited with AI.
Wow, that's cool. That's really awesome. Sorry, just the last question I have on content creation would be around specifically for that one day that you're thinking about for the week. How do you, number one, spend that day? Like, where do you come up with ideas
Yeah.
during that day, and how is that? Sort of, is that like a 2 hour stretch when you're just done? Just thinking
Uh,
about the mechanics of that one day a week that you spend on content creation.
yeah, so I actually like wrote a playbook about this because so many people were asking me.
Of
So
course.
this was in
So
like
we'll,
late.
we'll link that below. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really helpful.
This was late 2025 and I literally just documented everything that I do. So like my mission, my constraints, right, my strategy, my funnel. These were high performing content types in 2025. This links to very specific examples, and then this part is like my schedule. So like literally I'll wake up Saturday. It used to be Saturday, I moved it to Sunday. I used to film one YouTube video in the morning, repurpose it into a newsletter, and then film 20 TikTok videos after lunch. Um, and like the ideas for those TikTok videos come from stuff I'm doing throughout the week. So like I literally will ask Claude, like, look at 3 different ways I used Claude this past week because it has access to all of your sessions. Like it has all the logs from all your conversations, and I can make contents out of that easily. I also supplement that with, I use Apify for scraping different trends in hashtag AI, hashtag Claude. So it also gives me ideas like that. So literally by the time I sit down, I have already at least 10 short form ideas. So it's not like I'm just like sitting down from scratch trying to do everything.
That's awesome. I think this Blotato help section is probably one of the most useful resources with
Oh yeah,
everything.
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot in here. Especially if you're a beginner, things like warming up your social accounts. Like a lot of people just skip that step, and it results in poor performance. Like you always want to warm up your social accounts for several weeks before you automate posting to it. So, yeah, I just try to put like stuff I wish somebody told me when stuff like you normally have to pay a lot of money. It's like gate kept somewhere. It's like super confusing, but I just try to put it all there for folks.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm thinking about, I know we're at the hour, as I'm thinking about concluding, I think one of the things that I took away is how generous you are with sharing everything. Like, I mean, even the skills are things that are just potentially even employees. Like people, you've shared a full skill set of how to share stuff properly.
Yeah.
We rely on that very heavily here at Product Faculty too. We've got a lot of skills that we built, but I mean, you've got them for everything. And so if
Mhm.
someone does want to get started, that's the way to do it. I also love that it's not overwhelming. If anybody was to look at your profile and see you educate 10 million people, they must think you are working, 12 hours a day
Yeah.
making videos.
Yeah. I honestly like I like that's not the life I want. Like it's never been the life I want. Like I like building stuff. I kind of like building companies when things are going well. Like that's I would much rather be known as like a serial entrepreneur than an influencer, but at the same time it is very fulfilling and rewarding to teach people for free and see how they use the knowledge to like build side incomes, make more money for their families, level up their careers. So that stuff's exciting, but like I couldn't there's no way I could make content full time. Like that's not me. Yeah.
All right. For the final question, I want to ask, is there something that I did not ask you that you think I should have asked that would be really helpful for the audience?
Yeah, a lot of people from a product tech background specifically ask me about bootstrapping versus fundraising. Like that's
Yeah.
a very common question I get. When I lived in San Francisco, I could not imagine anything but fundraising because that's all you're surrounded by. Where you're just like inundated with news of monster fundraising rounds and monster exits and things like this. When I physically located outside of Silicon Valley, I realized like there are actually so many different ways to build a business. And so many of my own friends kind of realized like, I'd be pretty happy if I was just bringing in $2 million a year with my solo bootstrap business, right? Like, do we need $1 billion outcome for that? No, you don't. And so I just want people to know, like, especially if you have a product or tech background, guys, like this is such an unbelievable time to be building your own, what they call micro SaaS. And trust me, you will be perfectly happy making $1 to $2 million a year solo. You don't need like a massive $1 billion exit. With that said, though, like the thing it really buys is optionality. Like, let's say you do bootstrap to $1 to $2 million a year, and then you realize, hey, you want to go bigger. Like, you still have that option. So I don't want you to think of it as like it's exclusively one or the other. Bootstrapping it, getting cash flow in, making sure like you're set for life. Then you suddenly realize like, oh, I can actually go back and like raise funding for this company, for a different company I want to spin out. Like there's so much incredible optionality once you get to this place. You don't need
Right.
it. Yeah. Yeah. You have like so many options. And it's just like, I guess the other thing to convey is like cash flow is really fun too. Like I know that's from the VC world, like that's insane. Like you should just reinvest everything back into the company, raise as much money as possible. But there are other ways to build successful businesses. Like, you, and especially if you have a product tech background, like I really think you have an unfair advantage with the AI tools available. And I'd encourage more people with that background to just go for it. Because it's just such an incredible time to be doing this.
Sabrina, this has been an awesome hour. I really appreciate your time, and I know our audience will love this. And so thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me here. It's been fun.
Thank you.